Ooh, I've got a bit of a bite on the right rod. Yeah, I'd say we're on. Got down a little bit late, but I've still got a bit of time. Still got a little bit of time. Got down here a tad late today. Fishing the last 3 hours up in Bexhill. Going to be putting a Portsmouth rig out, which is already out now. Fresh out lug. Then I'm going to be setting up for my second rig here. Bass pulley dongle. That's what I'm going to set up next. I haven't even got the other reel on the rod yet. What we've got for that. And a 1 up and over 4 foot 4/0 circle hook on that. The catch reports have been pretty poor as of recently. My last session I blanked. Although it was a very short session at that, but the heat, lack of south-westerly winds will certainly do that. So the actual rig body here is actually 2 foot, but the 1 up and over goes over the top and back down, which makes it 4 foot long. As always, I will have 4 rigs in total, 2 out all the time, 2 hanging up. Got some fresh outs. Not as many as I had originally because some of them died. So I just gutted them and saved them for another day. But I've got some fresh outs. And there's 2 fresh outs right now on the Portsmouth rig. So that's get some bluey set up on there. I've got bluey, squid, and gutted lug. Got some crab and some fresh out lug. So I've got a nice amount there. We'll put just a bluey out on a dongle. We're bound that on there. And of course we're on a dongle. By the time I am gonna cast this out, this would have thawed out a little bit. And let's get that other real one. That moon looks stunning tonight. I do like to get down there about an hour before my 3 hours starts. Oh. That was heading for a nice distance. Clutch just, went on. That is a shame when that happens, because otherwise that could have went a good distance, and that clutch just latched into gear. Right, that's ready. All I need now is just one more rig. Just one more rig to put out, and I'm going to put out a scratching rig, something with small hooks, just so we can minimise the chances of a blank. I ain't tried this one for a long time. This is a one hook clip down, but it's got a rattle on it. And a little tiny lead shot to pin it down. So this is obviously targeting flatfish, Dover sole, that kind of thing. On this little scratching rig, I'm going to put just gutted lug on there. They're fresh today, only little tiny things though. Little hooks, little bait. I like the panel setup for a presentation. Sometimes you actually catch a fish on the top hook. See that little booby bead just above there? It's got little stop knots on there as well. 2 rigs out, 2 rigs hanging and ready and baited. We've got a beautiful golden moon there tonight. We'll be up on that bank before we know it. Now we're actually starting to fish. It's 9:48, 10. We've got about 2 hours then. So one rod cast over to the right. The other rod cast over ever so slightly to the left. Going by reports and my last couple of sessions, it's been very, very slow. This is to do with the easterly winds, the high temperatures, high pressure. And they're okay, those things, if they're a short period of time, but when they're prolonged, they're not so good for the fish. It affects them, affects their oxygen levels, and they just switch off. They just don't want to go on the feed. So we are on the 29th of July, 2026. Here's the current conditions. Right, let's get that right hand rod in. It's 10 o'clock. Okay, it hasn't released. The lug is not on there, but it didn't release. Lug was completely gone off that. I'll put this one on the lower rod stand. I'm going to bring in the other one as well. That one up and over hasn't really done its time yet, so I'm going to put it back out. So that Portsmouth didn't unhook. I think it's because it's just too tight. Yeah, I think what it is, and it shouldn't really happen, but I put those bait lead hooks with a little bait hook on them, but they're longer to hold the hook, and I think it's just not allowing it to slip off. It's kind of doing almost too good of a job for it, so that's not really helpful. So there goes the dongle. Squid and bluey cocktail. What I'm going to try is some bluey and fresh out lug. See if that brings us anything. On a dongle. So it's good to try all different cocktails. Try everything. Now this is a bit of caveman, I know. I'll do the job. This is our one hook clip down. With a rattle on it and a lead shot to help it keep pinned to the seabed. Size 1 O hooks. I was just saying to the lads that came over that was doing a bit of fishing tonight that the wind direction makes a huge difference, and that old tale goes something like winds from the east, fish bite least, winds from the west, fish bite best. Something along those lines. And the simple reason is that whenever we get an easterly wind, it's coming from the warm front, the pressures are going to rise and we're going to get flatter seas. The winds are not going to be particularly strong from the east. From the west, it's totally different. We've got the sea coming across the coast, the channel, and there's no land to disrupt the wind, so the wind picks up speed. But it also brings a colder front when it comes from the west. So when we've got southwesterly winds, that will bring your pressure down. But when we get these big southwesterly winds, it will create big waves, stronger currents, churn up the bottom of the seabed where natural foods can be found for other fish, and then other fish will come in to feed off them. So that's why, you know, just a couple of reasons why the fishing is best when it's southwesterly winds on the south coast, along East Sussex, especially in the Hastings area. It's like, you know, can be quite tough to fish in the Hastings area. Very flat. Even though we have got a south-westerly wind tonight, it's not very strong, it's very flat. The only good thing about the south-westerly wind is it has actually turned around the pressure. We are on a spring tide, but the water's still too flat and we've had too much prolonged heat during the day. Well, the lug's still on there on the Portsmouth. Let's switch this bass dongle up for a longer dongle. The only reason that this one I've labelled as bass is because it's got a 24-inch snood and a 60-inch rig body. So what it does is it actually lifts it slightly off the seabed into the surf. Okay, this is a 4-foot. Rig body, 33-inch snood, Frio. This might be the one that was struggling to release it. They ain't as good as the Gemini ones. You can see this gap that it develops. It's just cheaper steel. I'm probably just going to try a bit of squid on there, you know. Just the lug. And the Portsmouth, absolutely nothing on that. Very surprised that we've not got anything. I'm going to put 4 fresh outs on there. Just put 4 lug on my Portsmouth, 2 on each snood. Did I see that little bite on that right rod? It's 11:34. We haven't had a single bite. I will, oh, first bite on that left rod. Got to be patient. Got to be very patient with that. Here we go. The little rattle spoon. So there could possibly be a little tiny fish on that. I actually thought this one was the one that was there, but nothing's touched this. Nothing's touched it at all. So let's get this one off. And I'll call, this will be the last one, so I want to pack this one away that I'm putting up now. And this will be the last cast for this rod. Now I know what rig is on that left rod. You could have a little tiny flatty on there or something very, very small anyway. That one's squid and lug. Last cast for this rod tonight. There could be a little tiny fish on this one. Could be something that saved a blank. Have we saved a blank? Nope. So I'm going to do the same for this. I'm going to swap this one over. Something did have the bait though. Look, something did take it. Quick off the ground flick. I'll leave it there. It's about 3 foot, 4 foot out. I shall leave it. Don't like to call a blank, but it is looking that way at the moment. Ooh, I've got a bit of a bite on the right rod. Well, I'll be damned. Right near the high tide as well. Yeah. Just coming up for midnight, 11:54. Yeah, I'd say we're on. I'll just pull the lead out. Let's bring that left rod in. Well, let's get it in. Don't feel like there's anything on there. And the dongle did not release. So now we know. This happened last time. This happened exactly last time. Something was trying to get onto it. This is because I'm using a Splashdown. That's not a genuine Gemini. That's cost me a blank tonight. Well, I'm going to call it for the night. I've blanked, unfortunately. I was hoping to catch, and I nearly did catch something. There was a bite, but unfortunately what let me down was the Splashdown kind of Gemini fake from Temu. It didn't release the dongle, so whatever was attacking on it was attacking without getting hooked up, because it simply couldn't get hold of the bait. So lesson learned there, you know. The genuine Gemini Splashdowns work flawlessly. These obviously work for a little while, and then they just start to become very stiff and they don't release. So yeah, lesson learned there. I shall replace them. Anyway, it's been a beautiful evening tonight regardless, and appreciate you watching along with me tonight. Things will pick up soon. They will start to pick up, I reckon, in the next couple of weeks. But for now, I will leave you until next time.